Inclusion is fast becoming the norm in early childhood education. But what is inclusion? Welcoming children who act, talk, or learn differently is simply not enough. How do we create programs where the needs of all kinds of children can be met? How do we teach so all kinds of children can learn? Here in New York City, teachers and directors are collaborating with parents, special educators, and therapists to develop promising new approaches to early childhood education, approaches that include rather than segregate children with special needs. I'm Rosalie Woodside, Director of Rivendell School. Join me to explore 4 inclusive preschools where children with a wide variety of strengths and needs are learning together.
What's been important for us with inclusion is that the Children's House has always tried to serve children who had special needs, and in fact we've had many students who have had those needs. But since we joined with Rivendell School 3 years ago, we've really had to look more carefully at what we're doing, to see what the goals are for those children, very specifically, and what the goals are for a Montessori classroom or classrooms, and then to see how we could meet together and modify those goals to make sure that all of our students had a really positive experience at our school.
It's too hot, two, just the two. Backwards, so this is the forward. Why don't you try arranging some things, Kaya?
I already did
You did. When I wasn't here? Okay.
It looks like a pair of oysters. Erase it. Erase them.
Montessori classrooms are organized into several areas of work with a lot of activities to choose from in each area. Along with special projects, this offers many children a rich variety of experiences that satisfy their curiosity and learning needs. But for some, this very richness can feel frustrating or overwhelming.
There's the giant, and there's the good giant, this is the bad giant, and I was coming with the giant fire, and this is the caterpillar, and this is the spider, happy to be rescued.
Some children thrive as they move about freely, finding their pace and choosing their own work. But for other children, skills like negotiating the classroom and making good choices are goals rather than givens.
You can't find your name? I'll help you find your name. We'll do it together.
What did she say to do next? Did you tell Lynn that you're finished? And what did she say?
I forgot.
Okay, well let's go over to Lynn and tell her again.
Can you tell me more about it?
Inside is the farmhouse.
How about, what are these?
Those are my people who marched down to get all the bad guys and kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed that you and Travis have been working a long time on this structure.
Peer relationships are nurtured in this Montessori community, where children learn as much from one another as they do from their teachers.
Save the farm animal's life and to kill the bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In a Montessori classroom, we're not so interested in the product. It's the process, how you get from A to Z, rather than Z itself.
The eggs lay on a little leaf.
But for children with special needs, the product often is extremely important because it shows them, it gives them tangible evidence that they have done a job, they have done all the steps in the job, and they've done a good job.
No, I have to put it upside down because sometimes butterflies fly upside down. We don't like you.
Perhaps the most important goal is help with social and emotional well-being.
what's happening? August is coming over to join something, and instead of telling him what you thought about what he said, you just started teasing him, and then it ended up this way. So instead of just going to teasing, why don't you tell August what you're talking about?
For children with special needs, they may be their primary goals. Cognitive tasks are not so important at this stage. It's really helping children interact with peers, feel emotionally comfortable, build self-confidence, and trust in themselves as workers.
At Open House, having an inclusion program is just a natural extension of what we do, which is support children and their families. A family member will come for a tour, and in a classroom they will inevitably see a teacher working with a child, and they get to see how that just fits into the natural flow of the routines of the day.
We discovered Forrest had a speech delay. We decided that our son should be in a classroom to get some attention. But the classroom he was in last year it felt really separate. It was cut off from the rest of the school in a lot of physical ways, but the ways that the teachers dealt with them was problematic. What I've discovered here at Open House is that Forrest is in the presence of a lot of kids with a wide range of speech attributes, and it's rubbed off on him.
And Forrest, you're the weather person. Can you come on up, please? I notice you're wearing shorts today and sandals. Why are you wearing shorts and sandals?
Because it's sunny and cloudy meatballs.
Sunny with a cloudy and a chance of meatballs?
Yeah.
Well, when Forrest leaves Open House, he's going to be entering a whole different world, because what he's had here has been really geared toward cultivating his personality, and his speech issues haven't been downplayed. He has special attention every week, but he's also able to be around kids who are a little further along, a little developed, and there's a lot less of a gap now than there was a year ago.
Every child learns best when activities are personally meaningful. At Open House, the familiar downtown neighborhood is a traditional part of the preschool experience.
This is our own city, you know.
Yes, it is.
Our own city could be designed any way we want.
You're right about that.
Hold on, a new guest talent.
Jacob, can you come over for 1 minute, please?
Alyssa.
Daniel, can you come over?
Man.
Come here.
Yes, I have that.
Okay, you know what I noticed when I was standing over there? I noticed some contact. I noticed that you were trying to take the airplane away, and that Jacob,
Then
your reaction was to pull his hair. What could you have done differently? What do you think you could have done
Ask him
differently?
to give him back.
Right, and if he did not listen to those words, then what's the next step?
Kill him.
Would that solve the problem?
Typical social dilemmas, like learning to communicate with words, challenge most children, not only those recognized as having special needs.
The next step will be to get one of the teachers to help you.
Teachers are ready to help in the moment when feelings run high, because skills like using words and controlling impulses are still elusive for children this age. Later, perhaps as they write a story together, teachers and children can remember what happened. They can talk about feelings as new social strategies take shape.
What should we call it, Cyprian?
Mad.
Jacob and Forrest?
Mad.
Not mad. Jacob and Forrest were playing in the... Jacob wanted to build a path, and Forrest did not want to make room. Jacob said, "I want to put my path here," in a loud voice. Forrest said, "No, I can't want to make room," in a loud voice too. Then Jacob took his block and hit Forrest. Forrest got angry and hit Jacob back. Forrest feels angry What would you like to do the next time? Out of all those things your friend said, what would you like to do next time you're angry?
Stop it.
That's a very good idea. Maybe next time.
The foundations of self-awareness and self-control are strengthened in preschools where feelings are a natural part of the curriculum.
At a friend like Jacob, he can say, stop it, just like you said, Forrest.
We started our inclusion class a few years ago, but it's had a long history in trying to meet the individual needs of children. This school opened in 1934 and always wanted to encourage children's individual initiative and interests. In 1980, we realized we could access services for children who might have some special needs that were beyond our regular teaching capabilities. But we always wanted children to be amongst their typically developing peers. And we finally had the dream realized when we were able to get approval from New York City and New York State to have an integrated class of preschoolers. And now we are continuing to do what we've been doing for a long time, children learning from one another and learning from environments that encourage their initiative and encourage their confidence.
Communication between parent and teacher is harder to maintain when children ride a bus to school. Notebooks are one way to share news and keep in touch about progress.
And loved it. Is that where you rode the pony? Yeah. We can set a timer
For 1 minute.
and when the bell rings, it can be Paul and
No, for 1 minute.
Paul's turn.
For 4 minutes. No, 1 minute.
Okay, well when we set the timer, we usually set it for how many minutes? 5. Okay, so when the bell rings, whose turn will it be?
Paul.
It will be Paul's turn. Okay.
You got that. Right here.
Teachers think about the needs of individual children in the context of goals they set for the class as a whole. As reliable resources throughout the school day, they help some children remember the rules, others to choose activities or keep play going. They take advantage of everyday happenings to help children be friends and strengthen relationships.
I see you swinging. You had your turn. When you're finished, please let Austin know so he can climb. Yes, Dan.
Signs of emerging self-confidence and independence are rewarding reminders to reevaluate individual goals and think about the next challenge.
What should the note say?
Please no touch my here.
Hold on, Stephen. I can help you in 1 minute. Please no touch my thing. Do you remember you told me what you had made? Please don't touch my
microphone.
Microphone. Okay. Would you like to sign your name?
Yeah.
So we know who it belongs to? Okay. Can I help you with some? It's like a vest. Oh, you're the chief?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you need with the zipper? Stephen, what do you need me to do with the zipper?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Zip it up.
I just
Whoa. The whole orange. We're going to cut it in half.
Are they the same size?
Look at yours. Yours has no seeds.
There might be some seeds, but can't see them.
That's right. So next. Can anybody guess what we're going to do next?
At the Dillon Center, related services like speech and occupational therapy are often provided in the classroom.
Who's inside?
Okay, ready, Kylie? Roll.
Paul, move your hand and
Roll.
sit back. Wow. Good rolling, Kylan.
Put it behind you.
Behind your
Behind. All the way behind your back, not your neck.
Behind your back.
Behind your back. Underneath your arms. Good. Okay. Underneath arms. Underneath your arms, Malcolm.
What are we gonna do? Bless people.
Now push back. No.
Whoa.
Keep pushing back. Keep pushing back. Push with your hips. Walk back with your hips. Walk. Keep pulling back. And see how far.
Hold on and move in.
And okay, give yours to me. Hand over the pieces. The yellow, the orange, the purple, the green. Thank you. Everyone stand up. Come to this side and come to that side.
Sharing space and teaching together fosters stronger partnerships among teachers and therapists. This collaboration enriches the curriculum for each child in the class.
I started out with a lot of reservations about inclusion. I used to counsel children with special needs out of my program and into special education settings. I felt that children would be better served and have their needs met better in a place where everyone was trained to work with them and where they could get all their services in one place. But then I began to visit special education programs and I started to change my mind. I noticed that in a lot of these programs, they really emphasized modifying behavior and they emphasized academics at the expense of social and emotional development and at the expense of play. And I also noticed that it seemed that many professionals who worked exclusively with a special education population started to lose track of typical development and so often had somewhat unrealistic expectations for the children with special needs. Then one year I accepted a child into my program who came with a SEEIT, Elisa Crow from Rivendell, and I started to change my mind about inclusion. I found that when the expertise of the special ed teacher came to the program, we could really do a very good job of meeting children's needs together.
And which would be your favorite, the chocolate or the vanilla or the strawberry?
The chocolate.
Oh, that's good. It's on top. Lucky you.
I think my opinion has changed or come full circle about inclusion. I've been working with Elisa for many years and with special ed itinerant teachers from other places and from Rivendell as well. And I can really see how inclusion has made the school a better school. It works for the children with special needs, for the typically developing children, and also for the teachers, for the school as a whole. I think that we have embraced a broader view of children and that we have a much better understanding of development, of play, and of social and emotional development, which are the cornerstones of our program as a result of the work we've done with inclusion, and now I wouldn't do it any other way.
You all go. Did you figure out how to do it all by yourself, Dante? Nice going.
How did all this sand get here?
We was all to stick the floor to the bricks.
Oh, you were pretending it was kind of like cement to stick the bricks together? Please go choose a song. Sophie and Alexandra, let us see it make a motion. 2 by 2, maybe 2 by 2, yeah, 2 by 2.
Within the safety of the downtown little school community, there's room for individual differences and individual expression within the larger group.
Cookie jar.
Then who? Sophia stole the cookie from the cookie jar.
Developmentally sound, open-ended activities offer opportunities for children with a range of skills and needs to work comfortably, side by side.
Oh, wow.
Jackson's making blue handprints too.
You gonna put that up? Oh, wow. You gonna make another one, Jake? Still bye bye, see you later. For now, by Elizabeth and Julia.
These 4 inclusion programs represent distinctly different philosophical views about early childhood education. Yet they share powerful underlying beliefs about best practice for young children. And best practice, they show us, is what makes inclusion effective. All children, whether typically developing or challenged by special needs, flourish in nurturing school communities where the curriculum is meaningful, self-confidence is the goal, and collaboration among parents, teachers, and therapists the means to that goal. We can take this insight right back to our own programs and classrooms. When we plan carefully for inclusion to work, everyone benefits.
One is one, it's all alone, but if you'll sing along, as we gather sound on sound, we'll build a mighty song. Sing along, and we'll be like the seagulls and the sea, we have been forever, floating high and drifting free, coming together.